you were a big part, I know, and I know he cares about you, were a big part of 8 years ago, helping him and us in Massachusetts to make history. Let's do it again. And that's all, as we said, he's the first graduate of Milton Academy to become a governor of Massachusetts. And he never forgot where he came from and where he loves to come back to in Brockton. And you know, let me just tell you, I've had an experience on this campaign in a spirited primary with many of you, talking about equality and opportunity and values. And sometimes we disagreed on how we got there, but we didn't disagree on where we needed to go. And we had a terrific debate time after time again about early education, affordable housing, reforming the criminal justice system, being fair to people. Yes. And I was honored to win that nomination and honored to get the support of the 4 Democrats who also threw their hat in the ring because they cared, as I do and you do, that we do the right thing. And you know what? I had a rude awakening after that primary when I had to run against a Republican who doesn't see you. Sometimes I'm not sure he sees me, but he sure doesn't speak the same language we do. And I know as I look around this room, and I've been so happy we were out in Worcester yesterday with Bill Clinton. Yes. And we had a great afternoon. And I looked around in Worcester and I saw people who were old and young and male and female and all kinds of colors and all kinds of orientations. Some who spoke French and some who spoke Spanish. And just like tonight, and Cape Verdean. We got 70, 80 of them, I know. We see and hear you all. And my opponent does not. And I can guarantee you that the crowd we saw last night and the folks we see today were very different from the group who gathered with him and Mitt Romney to raise lots of money for their campaign. And I know, and the governor knows, that the history of this country started with a wonderful Declaration of Independence. All men are created equal. They really meant all white men who own property are created equal. And we have spent a lot of time over the last several hundred years trying to go to the right side of history, right? Including in the vote, African Americans and then women. And including, as we challenge the Defense of Marriage Act, fairness for people, so people could marry who they love in Massachusetts. And we are still fighting for our newest residents here in Massachusetts to make sure that we do see people, not their color, the size of their bank account, what zip code they live in. We still have ideals as Democrats that we need to get to. And this governor has made a really good start at sending us down that road. Because I got 2 good reasons right here that I'm running for governor, right? And they don't even know. I'm still running, and I want their support. They don't even know. But I know they will someday, right? You guys want to vote someday? Yes, you are. And I want to make sure that for them, for the guy who called me and said, I'm supporting you because I want my 13-year-old daughter to know she can run for governor, right? We need that. People and see people, and I've done that for people who are victims of domestic violence or sex abuse. We're making sure defendants get a fair trial and a fair shot at a second chance, and I talked to Sheriff Tompkins about how we can do better. That we give people help when they're mentally ill or they suffer from addiction, abuse. I know there are lots of people who aren't going to go to those fancy $500 plate dinners, and they're not going to get their phone calls returned, as the governor said. But I know we've got an obligation to do that. And when we do that, we are better than when we do that. We are a better government when we include everybody. And the good news is, let me tell you the good news. The good news is, and the governor knows it because he's invested in it, our future. The good news is we can turn this economy around for everybody. We don't have to have either or. We don't have to be fighting in the corners on how big the pie has to be. Because we know when we all chip in, when we care about each other, and we grow our businesses here, and we grow our workforce, and we give everybody a chance to get the skills and education they need, We want every kid to find a dream and follow it. I know I was lucky enough to do it, and I spent a lot of my time